Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'm doing a full face of drugstore. So I just did Flower Beauty the other day, and that was something that wasn't really planned. I had gone to CVS and I saw Flower Beauty there, and so I bought some. But this is something I have been kind of working on passively for a couple of months. A couple of months ago I thought I'm going to look at a couple of YouTubers and see what they have to say and buy the products and get them on Amazon, and I started doing that like 2 months ago. It's all drugstore. Most of it you can get on Amazon. I will link it all below, and most of it is new, but not all of it is new. As always, I like to start with foundation, and this is not new. This is the Infallible Freshwear 24 Hour. I got this when it first came out, and I think I wore it a couple of times and never wore it again for two reasons. One, the color isn't that great for me, and two, alcohol is very, very high up on the list on this one, and I can't do it. But I do remember thinking that this looked on my skin very similar to Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. So I've shaken it up since I haven't touched it in a long, long time. And this is the shade 425 Pump. And the pumps are kind of generous, and there it is. Yeah, it's definitely too light because it's kind of matching my hand. Oh well. And I can smell the alcohol right off the bat. I'm well moisturized in preparation for this. And boy, that 2 pumps is what I usually do with my other foundations. It's a lot on this one. So you saw that it was liquidy and it's moving across the face just as any other liquid. There's nothing unusual about this formula. And well, I have to kind of work it in to your crevice areas, and I can feel it begin to dry down now. So there's a little bit of working time, but I don't think it's a lot of working time. And I'm not getting some under my eyes so much as I'm making sure there's not an accumulation of product here. The concealer I got is from another brand, and I'm not sure it's going to work. But yeah, it's a little bit too yellow for me, and because it feels like it's going to be a matte, I really can't remember. It's probably going to change color a little bit more. So I feel like my blend is pretty nice. I wouldn't mind going with the Beauty Blender right around the hairline a little bit, but it's not bad. I usually go on with eyeshadow after foundation to let my foundation set up, and I have a lot of choices here. This is what I got on Amazon. It's e.l.f. kind of a glittery situation, but I have swatched this, and it's kind of patchy. And I found what's best is to kind of do a thin layer and add, and do a thin layer and add. And it's even patchy. Yeah. Just as I go through it with the wand, it's a little bit patchy. Probably, it might not look like it on camera, but in real life, it is. I also have a couple of other things. This is not new. The City Minis from Maybelline. I have 2 of those. And I have a couple of these e.l.f. things. I actually think I ended up tossing a couple of them. They are very inexpensive, and the powders are good, but I find the sets to be kind of incomplete. Like, they kind of need 1 or 2 other shades. So rather than a 4-pan, a 5-pan or a 6-pan would be great, and so they're not really useful. If I can't do my whole eye with something like this, and I have to pull to something else, what's the point, kind of? You know what I mean? This is super pretty color, though, undeniably. So I was thinking, since I ended up getting a lipstick that is very, 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 very pale, I might want to do a big eye. And I guess I could try a big eye with these guys. They're fairly neutral with some pink pops. Well, this one has a pink pop anyway. So I'm going to dip into both. This is called Cocoa City, and this is called Downtown Sunrise. So in Cocoa City, I'm going to start with this. And the lids are not primed, but you know, I have moisturizer and stuff going on there. And start at the crease, and then go down a little bit. And this is my Chikuhodo brush. It's just called Blender Brush. It doesn't say what the number is, but it's either 9 or 10. Also from Cocoa City, now I'm going into this darker, and this is a little blending brush. There's another one exactly like this, but a little bit larger, from the Sky Set by Sonia G. And going a little bit darker in this area. And at the end where I have little wrinkles and whatnot, wipe this off and do a nice blend. Downtown Sunrise has a darker brown here, and I'm going to go around the lash line, and this is the Refer 23, which is the smaller of the 3 Refers that are just not really of candle flame, but they're pointed at the end, and they're very useful detail brushes. And I just want to work this in. Maybe I can get a little bit between the lashes, so I'm going to work it from under and over. And then I'm going back to Cocoa with this lighter color, and again the smallest brush, and I'll probably blend with the medium brush, and I'm going underneath. One thing I didn't get is an eyeliner. I feel like, I mean, I have liquid liners. I guess I could do that. And I don't know, I feel like I probably have a L'Oreal liner somewhere. But if memory serves, if I do, it's probably in a color. It's probably in a blue or a silver, which isn't going to work. And then I'm going in with this brush to just work it in a little bit and make it very hazy. For the under eyes, I'm going in with Candid, and I have a feeling the color is not going to work for me. Again, yeah, it might. So this is the foundation, and this is the Candid, and this is the shade 27, and I actually have tried this before and returned it. Again, it's just so hard to see what shade is going to work for you. And while there's a thickness to this, a lot doesn't come off the wand, which is interesting. And I definitely want to clean up this area. And this ends up being kind of like that inverted V that I like to do here, just because it works best with my hood. I probably shouldn't have done my under eyes first. I am very infrequently do shadow under my eyes, so that was my bad. But that's okay, it'll work out. And then I use the finger so the edges aren't too hard. Actually, this is not bad. The texture kind of reminds me of the Kosas. It's a little bit, well, the Kosas, yeah, the Kosas I would say, and the Clinique to an extent, in that there's a little bit of a thickness, but not thick and heavy. It's like a pillowy kind of moussey feeling. This isn't bad. It's not full coverage, but it's 1,000 times better than the Flower Beauty concealer. 100%. Who can say how it will wear? And I will make a note down below of how the products wore, but I'm not going to come back just because it doesn't look good. I haven't been able to figure out how to get great light when there's very little light in here. I'm going to do bronzer, and of course I'm going to do the butter bronzer. It's the most famous, the most well-loved. Everybody says it's brilliant. This smell is a little hard to take. And this is probably 2 years old. I've had this for a while. It smells a lot less than it did before. And, you know, go around the edges and on top of the cheekbones, because my face is getting more and more yellow as this dries. It's super yellow on me, the foundation. And just diffuse this nicely, if I can. You know what, I do have another Refer brush, a face brush. Alright, this is a Refer 05, and I don't like this for blush because I like something that, well, who cares? Who cares? I've already explained. Okay, I'm going to explain. This feels like the more I blend it in, the darker it's getting. It feels like it's a little too dark for me. For me, my favorite blush brush is Wayne Goss, which that is not it. I have three. I have a Suikyu, a Chikuhodo, and a Wayne Goss, and this is for my powder. And this is a traditional blush brush. You pick it up here, and as you swirl it around, these shorter hairs diffuse the edges. And to me, that is the ideal kind of brush. And then I have a Suikyu, which I think is this one, and a Chikuhodo, which are shaped a little bit differently. This is flat, and this isn't quite flat. It's more like a curved off rectangle. It's the oddest thing. They appear like they're the same shape, but they're not. And those are beautiful, and they're all squirrel, and they're gorgeous. And I do find that the Chikuhodo and the Surratt, because of the shape like this, is kind of nice for doing bronzer or contour, where I wouldn't do that with the Wayne Goss. So I'm going to do the same kind of application where I put it on with the Chikuhodo, and then we will blend with the Refer. It hasn't even creased under the eye. That's interesting. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of blush, and in the blush area, I think blushes are actually very easy to find at the drugstore. That's one area. Well, let me put it a different way. No, when you go to a drugstore, let's say Revlon, it's like tons of foundations, a solid selection of lipsticks. For some brands like L'Oreal, tons of eyeliners, several mascaras, and then at the very bottom, at the floor, there's like 2 blushes. And usually they're out of one of them, if not both. But I find that the blush formulas at the drugstore are not too difficult to work with. It's just that, and I've said this before, when you start doing drugstore, you find that everybody's doing the same color. So this is True Match, L'Oreal, and Tati loves this. So this is a peachy color, which kind of scares me, and it's called N1-2 Precious Peach. Poor Lucy. I'm telling you, I do the flea stuff, you know, the Advantage, and it's supposed to last for 3 months, right? And I'm telling you, on her, it feels like it lasts 3 weeks. You know what, you guys? I'm kind of digging this. I usually don't like shades like this peach. It's just a little, I don't know, it's not my thing, but I think in combination with this bronzer, it's working. I do want to get this Refer back and kind of marry them together a little bit. Wow. I like these 2 colors together a lot. There you go. So these 2 together, delightful. So I think there is a way to know what color this is, but I just looked here and I didn't see anything that told me, but it's probably light, if there is such a thing. So these 2, very, very nice together. This is the NYX pencil that I always use. To me, if you can find a good eyebrow product at the drugstore, why wouldn't you? This is $10, where a lot of the things you get at Sephora are 20 or 30 bucks. It's just, I really, really enjoy this. It's the one with the pointed top. And I'm going in with Essence Mascara, another one. Tati loves Essence Mascara. I think she likes this one in particular, but she says it's the best mascara in the drugstore. Oh, you know what's interesting? These are like lifted rubberized stuff. This is perfect for gripping your wand. Hello, thank you. My favorite mascara is no longer being made, so I am definitely in the market for a new mascara that is more natural looking. I don't know if it's going to be this one. This is giving me, at first, kind of that feathery look I love. But now if I keep on going, it's beginning to look a little more clumpy. Hi, Liz. It's nice. I don't think it's different than anything else I have, except for it's less expensive. I'll let you know how this wears. And I'm going to do some underneath. You're so dramatic, Lucy. Voila. I'd say eyes are pretty much done. It's a very simple brown eye with 2 shadows, kind of smoky, and I decided to do that because I am going to be doing a pale lip. But before that, I'm going to powder the face because I'm feeling a little shiny. And this is the Covergirl, another one that is a favorite of Tati's. Oh, and it comes with one of these old-fashioned. Cute. So this is called Advanced Radiance in Creamy 110. And that makes me wonder if there's a sheen to this. And it looks like there is a slight sheen. In with my Wayne Goss brush. Somebody asked me about this the other day. The last several times I've checked, it was called a limited edition, no longer available on Beautylish, which is the only retailer that sells Wayne Goss. And then I don't know if I got an email or I saw it on the site. They said it's coming back. And somebody wrote me today saying it says to leave your name to order it. Didn't really blend in my nose so well, I guess, even though I tried. So it is coming back, and I highly recommend this brush for powder. And really, I've done contour with it too, just using the end like that. And this powder has some color to it. Not a bad thing considering that I'm wearing something that's a little too yellow on me, but it's also a little too light, which, I don't know, it's not the end of the world. But I'm beginning to feel makeup-y. I kind of don't feel like I need to powder under the eyes at all. There's a little bit of troughing here, but it really doesn't look bad. But I wouldn't mind the lightness that this affords under the eye. I'm really not so sure about that one, you guys. I feel like I'm beginning to look cakey when I'm looking at this mirror. Over here, not so much, but I definitely do not have a natural look going on, which is fine. Didn't get a liner either. This is from Flower Beauty. The color is 015 Peachy Nude, and it's really nude on my skin tone. Kind of looks bright there, but it doesn't look bright here. So I had already put on the Naturally Serious serum just to kind of prep my lips a little bit. And to me, this requires a liner. It feels creamy. The one I tried from Flower Beauty, yesterday's video, well actually it posted today, but it is Wednesday's video, and this should be Friday's video, was not as creamy as this. So this feels creamier. Then I also have this. This is the lifter from Maybelline that everybody likes, and I like it a lot. I have a couple of shades. So if this is too peachy, maybe, I don't know. There's something not right about this for me. Put this on, and this smells a lot like the butter from Physicians Formula. You get a little more gloss out of this. I don't know. This is so hard to, this like springs out. Okay, so I'm just looking here. The face and the body, not entirely the right color. The bronzer might be a little bit too dark for me, but at the same time, it's kind of a look. It's not a look that I usually go for, something really bronze and a very, very light lip, but I don't mind it. I'm going to open the door all the way so the light can be as full as possible so we can get a better look. All right, so looking in my monitor here, I do feel like even though the foundation was quite a bit lighter for me, it oxidized a little bit for sure, and then the bronzer and everything, and I'm feeling like I'm not really matching. It's fine. Overall, you know, I think it could work. This blush is very pretty, and you know what? I think it's very pretty with this. These two together, I really, really like. The concealer, boy, it is a mess on this table. Hello. I really like this. Now this is so strange because I have tried this at least once and I think twice. I've tried this concealer and the foundation I remember feeling that it was a little gray, and it was just, after doing it twice, I'm like, I'm done. And that's how I am. Twice is actually a lot. Oftentimes it's like once, and if I can't find one, I'm done. But twice I think is reasonable. I don't think I got this color before, but I think this actually looks nice. Of any of the drugstores that I've tried, and I haven't tried that many, I tried the Age Rewind, which I hate, and I tried the Flower Beauty, which I hate. This one, not bad. Of course, I just put it on, but still, the Flower Beauty sucked immediately. The lifter is lovely. I love the way it smells. I love the way it feels. No problem at all. It's too early to tell you what I think of this because it's all about, is it going to flake? Is it going to transfer? What's it going to do? So again, down below I will say, I love the grip here. That is genius. And this one is called the Lash Princess for curl and volume. So there's that. And again, I'll let you know down below. This is a really, really lovely highlighter. Highlighters are another thing that are not hard to get at the drugstore. You can find good ones in liquid, you can find them in powder, and this one has a lot of sheen to it, although I was sheeny beforehand, to be fair. The peach one would probably just be perfect with that blush. That's good. These City Minis, they're not new. I haven't heard anybody talking about them. Tati spoke about them ages ago, and she said, I love these, so I bought a couple. And they're inexpensive, and I think they're fairly decent, but it's been a while. So again, I will write down below what happened. And what else do we have? This feels much more comfortable than the lipstick that they're making now, but I did get this 2 months ago. I don't know if they're discontinuing this, or if it's being replaced by the new one, or if they have both. This is flat at the bottom, just like the Rare Beauty products, which is so interesting. But I like this much, much better. I'm getting used to the color. I'm not so sure about that. The powder, I'm not so sure about this powder because after I put on the powder, I feel like now I feel like I'm looking like makeup-y. And I didn't hit that zone until I put the powder on. I don't know how to explain it otherwise. The pores look wonderful, so that's lovely. It does impart some color. And even though it's called Radiance, I don't think there's a sheen. I have better powders, for sure. And I just kind of want to go over with the Beauty Blender to help that makeup-y look that I am suddenly feeling that I have. It's one thing to have a lot of color, and it's obviously, there's makeup on my face, but it's another thing when the skin looks makeup-y. So I dampened this a few minutes ago and wrung it out really well, so there's not a lot going on. I don't feel like I'm removing any of my makeup, but I just want it to kind of sink into the skin, synchronize a little bit, and it doesn't have that feeling. It's a little better, but it looks makeup-y for sure. Again, I'm not sure if it's the function of the foundation, the powder, or both of them together, but I think it's the powder because that's when it's like, oops, I went a little too far. Another trick I do, make sure your hands are clean. I rub the hands together until they're very warm. and do the fingers as well. And I take the heat from my hands and apply it to the face to melt everything in together. I know a lot of people use finishing sprays for this or setting sprays for this. I don't like setting sprays. Most of them have a lot of alcohol in them. And if you powdered to get rid of sheen, the minute you put on the setting spray or the finisher, you just have powder on your face, but you're no longer mattified. Now it looks a little more skin-like to me in this mirror. In here, there's something kind of makeup-y going on, especially around this area. And I think it's because I just put on too much powder in that area. It just looks like makeup. It does. And that is a full face of drugstore that I got on Amazon for the most part. And yeah, I hope it was helpful to you. I hope you like it. And you guys, I don't do drugstore very often. It's not my thing for this kind of reason. It's like, it's nice and yet I feel kind of cakey. But if it's something you're interested in, maybe I'll do one once a month. I do feel that when I do a drugstore video, I don't get as many views as I do when I do something from Sephora. But maybe there's enough interest to do something once in a while, or if I find a dupe or something that's a real dupe. There are tons of videos out there saying, better than high-end. Oh, if you want me to do a video like that, all those videos that say drugstore better than high-end or drugstore dupe, let me know and I will look at a couple of them and pull out some products. This person says this person says that, and do a video like that. I kind of would like to do that because I don't believe it, especially certain channels where every other, not really, but a lot of their videos are better than drugstore. It's like, well, better than high-end. Everything you buy in the drugstore can't be better than high-end. How do you have so many videos that are making that claim? So yeah, let me know if you're interested. Anyway, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be smart, be safe, and I'm wishing you good health.